Okay, we're gonna call it Fair Board meeting to order for Monday, April 20th, 2026 at Fairgrounds office. We're gonna go around the room, starting by left with roll call.
Lynn Smith,
Linda Grass, Ben Cummins,
Casper.
Gail Merritt. We do have a quorum of the Fair Board, and also we have,
Casey David.
Parker Gales.
okay. So we need to approve our minutes from our last meeting.
Yep, we gotta do public comment first.
We'll have it down under business.
Oh, I do, I'm sorry. Go ahead, yeah, this is the new one, I'm sorry. Follow it.
Okay, follow it. Okay. The minutes.
I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
And okay, there's been a motion, a second to accept the minutes as presented. Any discussion? Okay, let's start at the end of the table there.
Casper, aye.
Jen Cummins, aye.
Linda Cross,
Linda Smith, aye.
and Gail Merritt, aye. The motion carries. All right, now, do we have any public comment?
Seeing none in the room.
All right, we have 2026 Crook County Fair Planning updates. Is that a combination of you two?
It is a combination, so I will start. So we got word this morning that Court Friday and his band is not available for the Friday evening. And so we are gonna have to go back out, and we did reach out to this
See the truckers?
So we're gonna wait to hear back, and then we have another interested.
Were they really?
So they're good? They're good.
They're very good. We'll have to see what they cost.
So the cost is a factor. And then there's another cover band that is very interested in playing there, so we'll see. There are some opportunities for that to happen, so. The second piece that I wanted to talk about was the Veterans Breakfast. And kind of give a little bit of history. This started with Mary Smith back in
A long time ago.
2010. And it was originally kind of conceptually brought together that this would be a fair board supporting the veterans. And
I thank you to them.
yeah, thank you to the veterans, and it for many years it was, and then we had the chief of police join us, and he kind of added the law enforcement component, and it's kind of just evolved. And so the question has been, do we want to continue forward with that concept? Do we want to get back to the fair board? I know that some people have kind of envisioned it now as just a weekly meeting of the Band of Brothers and not much more than that. So, it's kind of open for discussion that we wanted to. I know there's been a few fair board members that wanted to maybe get back to what it originally was and what originally the intent was, but just laying it out on the table for discussion.
And I think you also were wondering whether we should even proceed with veterans.
Correct.
Because
It hasn't run its course, that's the other thing.
Well, before, I've done it for a long time. So, and it did change with Dale getting police officers involved. The only thing I'll say about that is if you don't, then we've all got to pick it up.
Yeah,
And it's heavy and it's not an easy job to do. And then you've got to take it all back and they do all that for us, so.
How involved have the PD and sheriff's office?
so they have been involved in transporting the food down here. And then serving it once they got
Once they
down.
got down, and then they take it all back.
And one of the issues is though that a lot of those guys are veterans
Mhm.
and they're not being served by us. They're actually serving the veterans, which is good and it's honorable, but I think that.
But that's what
the
they want.
concept, yeah, that's what they want.
So maybe a suggestion would be, in one aspect, I agree with Linda, it does save us a lot of work. But, you know, what about if they would continue to do what they're doing and we go back to the board members serving, and they in turn would be able to sit down and be served also.
Perfect, that would
We've
solve
talked
it.
about
That would
it.
solve it.
I think you'd have to go to them and talk, it mainly the sheriff department. I think
Yeah.
you'd have to go and talk to,
John?
John
Yeah.
about it a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah,
Well, probably not John, it'd probably be,
Bill,
Bill.
or somebody.
yeah.
I feel like it's become more of a sheriff's department function along with the excuse me, on Friday morning, they do the breakfast.
Yeah.
And sort of the fair board has gotten kind of lost in the shuffle.
So that's the buyer's breakfast that you're referring to.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do
they do
breakfast,
buyer's
Friday
breakfast,
night
yeah.
breakfast.
Yeah.
And you're still doing that.
That's
I've
that's
heard-
not a part of the sales committee.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's completely.
I agree that we are going to do that this year.
Yeah, we'll have to reach out to the gentleman that handles that, but yeah, that was taken off of our plate by.
And as far as not having it, that's a tough one. I know it's really shrunk down. Last year there was confusion in the time. I'm well aware of that. I say we give it at least another year and see if it gets a little bit better response, and if not, then we might consider it. I just hate to give that up.
well, I kind
I
of
mean,
do
that's a
too.
big part of the fair.
But again, you've got to make sure Ron's in, because if he isn't,
Right.
it would be,
Then we're back to square one.
you have no,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
you
in the
can't afford to
beginning,
do it.
we were cooking it,
Yeah.
we were serving it, and we were in it.
Yes. Yeah, never again.
Well, you know, the first year I did, I went around to all the restaurants and got food, but
Right.
that was really a
Yeah,
pain
yeah.
too, and hard to get done. And then you had to chase all over town after food, where here, we
He
get
does
coffee
it.
from the coffee company. Right there on the corner, they come right down the road and pick up the rest of the stuff or
Yeah,
coffee.
right.
Last year, they picked up coffee from me too, but it's all on the same road. So
Sure.
it works out
Right,
good.
sure.
And I think Ron will do it, but I hardly see him anymore.
Oh, I can talk to Ron.
Oh, I'll talk to him, I mean,
Yeah,
you
no,
know, I have
I'm
buddies, but
sure that Ron would do it. I have no doubt.
I just don't see him working all that much.
I see them
Sundays.
quite often, but Amy is down there. She's
Yeah, Sundays
good one to
mostly.
talk to too.
So do you guys have any thoughts on it?
I think you should still do it. I know from the other side of it, when COVID hit, the veterans were very upset with the fact that it was adapted or canceled. I think there was one year it was canceled, next year it was adapted.
Yeah.
And
Box lunches.
yeah, and they weren't exactly happy. That was what they would go for.
Yeah, no,
So let's talk about the time, Linda. You said, Linda, if there was confusion. What time do the Band of Brothers usually eat on the meeting?
Gentlemen,
This is kind of what happens. There's a group of those gentlemen and ladies, quite frankly, that usually will drink coffee from like 6:30 on, but we don't get our coffee until we go pick it up, which is close.
well, we
Eight?
do though, because I get them to pick up, I mean, if I have somebody to pick it up, I think.
I think we got it at 7:30 or somewhere.
In the morning?
Well,
We
yeah, but I
did,
brew
because we-
those two big pots
Yeah.
and they're ready at 6 o'clock in the morning. But somebody's gotta pick them up because I can't,
Correct, and I don't think we had them down
No, it-
here.
and but didn't. Last year, did Jay come after them?
Yeah, I think we took a golf cart down and got the two, picked them up, because they were in here. We brewed them right in here.
Oh, no, my big ones,
Yeah.
I
think
made
we
them at
brewed-
home.
Oh,
Well, could we do that though? Bring them here and you just brew them here?
It takes an hour to cook them,
yeah, it does take an hour a cup.
so we have to get them really early.
40 cut pots.
No, it's 100. I have 200 pots.
Oh,
100,
Oh,
yeah.
so,
and they drink it all.
so that was,
can you just like
Yeah.
turn it on and let it be, and it takes an hour, or you have to like monitor it?
The bad part is you have to, at least the first year, I think, maybe monitor, because the first year I did it at home, it blew my circuits.
that stuff.
So I have to put one in the dining room and one in the kitchen. And then I get up at 5 and I start them, and then I get ready to come down here and they're done.
Right,
But in the beginning, Rick and Chuck Jordan brought them down here at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, as long as we would know that they would be ready
But if Jay can
And all we
pick them up,
need is one.
to get started.
To get
Early.
started.
To
If
get
they're
started.
100 cups.
Can't we have them all ready to go the night before and somebody can just come?
Yeah, we-
well, that's what I do. I have it all ready and I just get up in the morning
I
and
think
just
we
do
could
that.
probably set them up in the shop and
Just do it here.
Yeah,
just do it here, and then all they have to do is bring it over and talk.
well, we can do that. I borrow from,
Because I do know that some of the group shows up early because that's
Yeah, they
their
do.
social time.
it's to be social at 6 a.m.
But you would
the
be
veteran
amazed.
veterans.
You're not 75 years old.
Well, no, well, never mind, I'm not gonna say that, but.
No, they're
I
very
wouldn't
good about
expect
their
a 75-year-old to be.
But I think,
They live for Thursdays.
I think a little more
That's their
work
meeting.
on making sure people know, I don't know who's at the vets. That
So-
guy that was so good left, but I think,
Dan Swearingen is the
well, I know
president.
Dan, but no, the vet, not Brad, but rather the vets.
It's back, isn't he?
Yeah,
Well,
like that.
and Carol Poppy is there every Thursday.
Yeah, but
Yes,
we're not talking about that. We're talking about the VA down here. A lot of these guys don't belong to Band Brothers, and that's where we're missing
So the
the
veterans,
veteran
officer,
services.
yeah.
oh,
And
So
I've
I
never,
can get you that. I
Yeah.
think it's relatively new.
yeah, he's new. I know he's new. I just haven't met him yet. But I think if we get them and Band Brothers is, I mean, it's not a big deal. But, did I talk to them? Because they'll be at my house on Friday. Dan will be there. And so we'll,
So I know we've had a conversation with Clyde about it.
Yeah.
We should be good.
they're putting a ramp in for Raycon.
Good for that.
So I guess the biggest issue is whether we're going to do it or not.
Yes.
right.
From what I hear at the table, that you would like to continue it at least for one more year.
I think we ought to try.
I agree, I think we should do it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go off smoothly, if we think there's some questions, then I think the next step would be to sit down and talk with those who can go smoothly.
Mhm.
Find out how we can make it better, or if they would rather we just did.
Well, the other thing I worried about, that's crossed my mind, and never had anybody say anything to me about it, but they get a free breakfast, but it's the same one they get every week. But I don't think there's any other way to do it. It was just too hard the other way.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
pretty hard. I mean, scrambled eggs and some kind of protein.
But, getting everybody to do it, not forget, and do what they're supposed to, or enough of what we had trouble when we were doing it that way, that some didn't give you enough. Ron gives you too much.
but I'm sure, I have no doubt that Ron would do
Oh, I
it.
think you'll do it.
So it's really just a matter of talking to the sheriff department, if that's the ones you're concerned about, and just explaining the situation.
I don't wanna be perceived as usurping anything. I just, we wanted to kind of get it back to.
Right, I understand that.
Yeah, so
Do
I
understand.
think certainly talk to Bill, Elliot, and then we
Or John, or
or
both.
John, or both, and then, just say this is kind of what we want to do. We want to make sure that all of the veterans get served.
Is there a way to like supplement the fair board as
Yes.
the people
Yes.
Yeah, we can, they just don't
Well,
want you to.
I mean, like,
to serve.
to present it as like the veterans, cause not all of the police officers that serve are veterans, or are they all?
No,
No.
I don't think.
So those that,
But what
are
they're-
part of
so
it,
what
they
they
don't sit
say-
down.
What they've told me they think about it is that it's a time for them to meet and have those people see them face to face and not be the cop. have that
Yeah.
interaction,
Well, they
So where
can,
do they
but they can,
sit?
so
but
they.
not being the cop.
No, they don't wanna sit with them as the veteran.
You're gonna be more inclined to go from the
It's just,
But
it's a weird, kind of a weird deal. And I've done it for so many years and I talk to those guys and I care about it because my husband's a vet. But, yeah, I don't, they like that, and I can see it because you're the bad guy all over town. But then they have a chance to be the good guy.
Well,
So
they
like
could
it.
also, they could also serve coffee. They could also have the coffee pot going around serving coffee, refilling the juice glasses and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Sure.
Or even,
I mean,
I guess if we do that too.
what we
That's
do,
always been a little
yeah.
bit of a problem.
They don't want us to be a part of it at all.
No, I just, this coffee serving doesn't happen, like, I think it's, well, if I don't have volunteers down there just to
Right.
do it.
Right.
And I have a billion pots
Right.
that are in my cupboards
Yeah.
that I don't throw away, the little ones, so that we can fill them and go door to door, but.
Well, the one thing that I would stand firm on though is, you know, it is a part of the fair. And it has been a part of the fair for a really long time, and I do believe that the board should be involved,
Yes,
so.
I agree. So. Then we'll have, Linda, you can talk to Ron.
Yeah, I'll talk to him, I'll talk to him.
Well, when, 2
I've been
minutes.
doing it forever.
Yes,
He's so good, I mean,
Oh, I don't think he'd tell you no,
Yeah,
even if he didn't have any money,
yeah,
I really don't think he would. But he's really fond of the veterans, so I just worry about him, cause I don't see him like I used to.
okay, that's fine. Gail, you can talk to Bill or John. I can do it in.
So I'm happy to do that too,
So
John,
I
we're relative of mine.
I don't want to overstep, I don't want to overstep.
For a long time by myself, so I'm
Sure,
done it, I mean, I'm happy to do
and
it.
I'll have, we can have.
But I guess I just tell them, you guys don't want them to serve because you wanna do it. And I haven't wanted to do that, but I guess if that's what you want, that's what I'll do.
That's.
so,
Well, that's kind of what I'm hearing is you
That
want to
sounds
serve. It does sound harsh,
It does sound harsh.
but I know how they feel and I know how you guys feel, and I felt like that all along. I'm gonna be really honest that you guys didn't like it because they were serving, but they wanted to, and they were doing all the work for me, so guess what? I don't need to be seen there. And they want to be, so that's my big. Hold on, I don't know how many years I've been doing this to you. Ever since before I was on the fair board, actually, a year before I got on the fair board.
So would it be possible to have both the deputies and it's not just the deputies, it's the city guys.
Yeah.
And even the Forest Service guys come down and participate and the corrections stuff. So would it be possible to have both groups serve? I mean, is there enough serving going on to have?
Not really,
multiple groups?
especially the last couple of years, there isn't. But I think, I get what you want to do, but I don't wanna hurt their feelings either. And we've had a lot of conversations about, why don't you guys go sit down and we'll serve you, and they don't want to.
Well, that might be just something that we it's not being rude, I mean. Setting somewhat of a boundary for that and say, hey, we wanna be a part of it more as well. The fair board wants to be a part of it.
well, and
I think they
then,
would understand
and
that.
another hitch is we always have the commissioners come in and take a spot, and that's a pretty.
Well, I don't mind telling them no.
Okay, okay. But
I really
that
don't
happens.
mind telling them no.
Well, and we do have the commissioners serve on Wednesday, because that's opening of the fair, and I just feel
Right, yeah.
like it, and we're introducing them, and I just feel like that's a time that I need to invite them to come.
Yeah.
Serve.
Right,
I
yeah.
think that's a great time for them to be here,
Right.
right?
But now they've been doing it on Thursday too.
I think it's great that they're there, but I don't think they They can just be there to support the veterans and things and like that.
You may have to get Seth's space, but that's okay too.
Seth
I'm not doing that either.
That don't scare me.
But he's the problem, the rest of them are not. I mean, they would understand for sure, but also I don't mind talking to Seth about it either, but. Not have them and just talk to John and see what he start with
Sure.
John, I think.
Yeah.
Like said, we're relatives, so I don't mind talking to John and telling him kind of what's going on. But you wanna get the county shop and all those places and, I mean, other people than veterans?
What do you mean?
Well, I think that there's. I feel that we can represent the fair board. And the deputies and the officers and. Ron and the rest of them to serve the veterans. I mean, that's ultimately the goal, is to honor the veterans at fair. I mean, that's kind of what we started with, and so. I guess however that looks, I mean, you're the board, and this is a decision that's gonna be up to the board, so. However you folks would like it to look like. Is kind of how. It's gonna look like, so.
Well, the other problem we have as a board. I usually don't serve because I'm trying to keep the food on the table. And we've got Linda and Gail and Jen and maybe Mike this year, but sometimes we don't have enough people to serve.
Well, you had so many people that were serving last year, I went out and felt it was more important to direct traffic than just.
Well,
was down there.
I didn't have anybody
So-
serving, that was them, not me. That's the police department, nothing that I told them to do or asked them to do, that's what they want to do. And that's my problem is,
So whatever
That
configuration, yeah, whatever configuration you guys would like to see it in, I'm sure that. If you talk to the commissioners, that.
they can stay away or
You're not scared of
can
it.
have breakfast.
They could come eat
Yeah.
breakfast.
They could come eat breakfast and honor the veterans too. And maybe give some spots to some of the folks that. want
But
to.
maybe there's a way, if I talk to John early enough, that we kind of sort out a little bit that. The guys that are vets, we'd really like to have sit down and eat,
Okay.
and if there's some that are not.
So can we leave it like this then?
Let me
So
go have a
that
conversation
You guys
with
have a
them.
conversation with both Ron and maybe the commissioners and the sheriff. We probably need to include Shane Wilson in that conversation, because his guys are
City.
heavily involved in the city.
She's acting in the interim,
Yeah.
she's placing them on this.
Who?
His name is Shane Wilson, he's the interim.
I have not,
Police.
since Dale left, they've never been interested. I've asked them every year, they don't show up.
Okay, maybe just John then.
Yeah.
And then you guys can report back on in May at our meeting.
I think if
Come up
they
with
had a
plan.
regular chief maybe, but it's been such a mess since
It's gonna miss.
he left, and that's how that part of it got started.
And I know there are a bunch of A personalities, but just tell them to go through and go direct track.
So is that a plan then? We can
Yeah.
regroup at our May meeting and have a plan put together.
Sounds like a you go.
I know.
I think that sounds good. I mean, I know the fair board would like to get back, a little more involved. But we also want to have harmony in our community, so we don't want to.
Right,
Well, that's what-
Toes and complain.
That's
and
why.
really,
And Linda, you go with me this time and you can see what they say, because I've talked to them about it and they've been really adamant.
Okay.
That they wanna serve, but maybe if we talk to John,
Just.
he'll have an idea how to sort it out, maybe, and just mainly have I don't know how many of them are.
well,
Most
Jen
everyone I know is.
had just had an excellent idea.
Just go chat to Gottney and tell them that, hey, we know that you guys wanna help. We need help directing traffic and hauling big stuff. And we want you guys to be a part of it as much as we're.
Yeah, we can try that.
No, I mean,
But I think it's the face to face, I think that they want. And I really understand that because, you know. They don't get a lot of good things said about them, a lot of bad. So they like that chance to be the good guy. So that you go with me, you can be right there and hear what they say.
And then you'll bring us some kind of updated menu.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I would be very careful about approaching them in that sense. If you're asking them to do all the heavy work and then telling them you don't want them to
Yeah.
serve,
Yeah,
that to me, I'm just sitting back
I agree with that.
I feel like that is something,
That's not right.
it's very inconsiderate.
I would hope that we would come up with a plan. Once again, I'm not part of making the decisions, but I hope we could come up with a plan where we could come together as a group and then serve. We maybe, exclude some of the other folks that maybe can be there for the breakfast, but
Yeah.
maybe not serve.
Maybe not.
And
Well,
between those two things, we could have both.
I think Seth's the only one that really butts in and serves.
So last year Susie was here.
Was Susie serving
Susie's been, yeah,
Oh, that's
Yeah,
easy
she's
enough to
been-
fix.
So
We'll just fix that.
So maybe Casey, maybe Lincoln, and Jennifer would like to get together and
sure,
hash this out
Sure.
and bring something back to us.
because you're putting down ideas too. Yeah, but I thought their ideas were great.
Oh, Linda and I can go see him. We'll just
Okay.
get a
So
day and
we'll
run
give
down.
us an update.
Yeah.
I think we probably just sit down and talk about it. Quite frankly, we could just figure out how many people we actually do need to serve. Figure out how many of us can be there for sure, and tell them how many we need to fill in to serve.
So the group is usually around 2:30 to 2:50. And there's usually two lines that get served through. I think that there's probably 4, maybe 5 people that
But
serve in that line, so that's 10. I would think that.
So we've got somebody by the coffee and somebody by the juice, so just figure out the number that we need, how many can commit to be in there. And let them know. I don't know how many we need.
Well, it sounds like.
Okay, so
If we sit down with John and talk to him. And Bill, maybe the two of them.
Their boss, everybody.
Yeah, right.
okay, so you guys will bring back something in there.
We will.
Okay, we'll move on then. So the rest of the fair planning updates, so we do not have pony rides this year. Nellie has opted not to come back. I think she sold her ponies off, so we do not have that spot. We have Waterpalooza. We do not have them coming back, but we have Super Science that's gonna be in their spot. The face painters will return, the balloon twister guy will return. We have Godfrey the Magician that will be doing daily shows on stage. So we have that all set. We have Precious Bird coming in for Wednesday night's opening. We have asked Deb Shaw to sing the national anthem.
Oh,
And we have the NJRTC gonna do the colors for us again this year.
And you probably talked to
And we
We need them to do the
Yeah.
colors of the veterans.
Right, we will have them do both and do our additional parking. This Court Friday thing came up this morning, so we're working on that right now. Countrified will be here on Saturday. They will also provide our backstage or sound. They're also gonna provide the PA system for the sale. It just is. It was easier for John to get the equipment together. and do it, so John has agreed to do that piece of it again. We're gonna do loadout exactly like we did it last year. It worked really, really well, and it was really well received. So that is gonna happen. The superintendents for the 4-H sheep and goat have a presentation in front of the 4-H and FFA leaders to move this big long tent that we have and separate the tents and put it in the horse arena that's down at that west end. So that is out in front of the 4-H and the FFA leadership. So it would look 3 separate tents, a show ring, and kind of a wash area. And then the outside of the ring would be prep stations for the families and the kids like we've had in the past. So it will open up some space here down on this final edge, but we haven't really gotten buy-off from either FFA or 4-H yet, so I'm still kind of just waiting on it. We do have a depiction of it. If you want to hang on, I can certainly get it off my desk. Share it around the table. Should have had it.
What's their reasoning?
Well, I don't know their reasoning was. We found it was too crowded and too long.
It seems very out of the way. I mean, they're pushing them clear out there, right, to pretty much the road.
Yeah, that little 4-H arena that's out there.
Right here. So they're gonna move it from here and clear out here.
And that's the sheep and goats.
I don't know if that-
Yes, I think so.
Huh.
Yeah, pretty sure it's.
Cause they're all right up here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they'll be like that way.
So is that tent still going to be south of the H barns?
I don't know.
I mean, where the cattle were.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be anything there. If they're moving everything, that means they're having the show ring and everything at that, right there at the entrance. If they're having it at the indoor, or the
Front gate.
horse arena right there.
Yeah, I think like right at it.
Why do they wanna do that?
I don't know, they had a conversation with Casey about it. There was them and then the other lady that I think is the other superintendent for,
The open class.
Yeah.
Griffin.
yes, in Griffin.
If that, it was too
Very,
crowded.
Interesting. I don't know. I
It
was
just seems like you'd want to be right up front like they are instead of they're back there.
Yeah,
It seems
Seems
out the way.
really weird. Is that what you think?
Yeah,
When
that's
I-
what I personally think, but I'm not a huge. person
I
that-
think there's something that we're having to do down there too. For like to accommodate them for the fairgrounds. I think we're having some work that has to be done down there. Not too sure though.
The rain, and she said, well, if it rains, you're.
Well, that's another.
Sure, up to your neck in the mud.
Fill with water if it rains. I mean, not that it, but there's been some,
They're not-
years where we've had some downpours and it's not good.
well,
Yeah,
one year,
yes.
it flooded down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we had that thunder and hail and stuff, it was horrible that year.
Oh, it was.
That was it.
They had trenches with water.
Yeah, not that that happens every year, but it is a possibility,
Yeah.
I mean.
I don't worry
Sometimes,
about it.
What do you think of Mike?
I'm listening a lot here. I'm just trying to figure out. Will then the tent that the sheep were in right now move from there down to that other?
Yeah, so the way I'm understanding, there's not, all it's gonna be in the H barn. And beside it is just gonna be the cattle, and then you'll have the big tent for the cattle, because they don't all fit in the H barn.
Yeah.
But then
Right.
that one's always on the other side for sheep and goats, I would guess would move down.
That sounds,
Yeah.
and what's gonna happen to the space where they've been?
So they
With the card in it.
no.
No, not that many, I mean.
They thought that the
Sponsor cars.
people would utilize it to
For fitting.
a fitting, yeah, so.
I think that might, well, the pony place would be a good place for dealership cars.
Oh,
Where the ponies were.
yeah, but then they're gonna.
This is the one I'm not, this is the one that they're proposing. If you got this blue one, it's not, right.
You got the right one.
Which one?
It's this one,
This one to the right.
this one right there.
So, is that what we get is?
Oh, there's two? Yeah, you want that page.
Or- It's the wrong one, you got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I printed both of them, I recall.
Okay, now,
Well, now you're lost.
there
I got that.
there you go, okay, gotcha, okay,
So instead of one big long tent,
yes,
it would be three separate tents, a show ring. And there's some built-in bleachers already there, some staging area and the clerk's area. And then the blue boxes around the outside are the fitting. Kind of tents that we typically have every year now.
does it create extra work for your boys?
No, not typically, it'll create extra work for the guys setting up the tents. But they're setting up 3 tents, it doesn't,
Yeah.
there's not really a big difference. So anyway,
Where the staging area and the showroom are, is that a covered tent or is that just the 4500s?
no, this is the inside of this horse arena down at the front.
Right.
So there'll be, the tents will be covered, the 3 tents will be covered. The bleachers are currently covered. We would have to do something similar to what we do the open class and probably bring in some shade cloth that we already own. So,
What if it rains?
Yeah, what if we get that thunderstorm like we had?
well, I mean, it doesn't matter where it is on the fairground, if it rains, it rains.
If it rains, it rains.
Yeah,
Well, it does, except for the mud usually gets deep in that arena.
I think what we would end up doing with this is rolling it flat like we do
Oh, like
the
you
inside.
do? Okay, that makes sense. So it'd be
Yeah.
literally inside that fence?
Yeah, literally inside the 4-H horse arena. So this is currently out in front of Dan and his group and Risa and her group. But, and there hasn't been any decisions made on this, so one way or the other, this is what's being presented.
In case you might have said, who's presenting this format?
So there's Kim Herbert and then Shannon, and I don't know,
Casey.
yeah. Those are the 2 that have put this plan together. Anyways, more information than anything else right now because I haven't been a decision made. but
Well,
That's what it is.
if it does, I guess.
The other thing that we're working on is, buckles. We have some buckles being designed for the 250th. That will be presented to both the fair board and, some of the staff members that would work on. The premium book is about ready to get printed. We're kind of waiting on Haley, so Haley's had a little girl. And so we're kind of waiting on Haley to ease back into that, and so we'll have those printed pretty darn quick, we think. We're gonna do 600 this year. We did 400 last year and we ran out, so we're gonna up that a little bit, so.
I'll try a couple more times this week.
Sure.
I've been busy with Rick, but it's slowing down a little bit. See if I can. How much do we decide that was gonna be?
2,000.
2,000. I hope I can get Mike on Wednesday. And if he's a no, then I'm gonna go right down the road to the other dealer.
Sure, okay, there you go. We have a full slate of food services for fair, and it's pretty eclectic, I will say. We have a whole bunch of folks that we've turned down, because we don't have enough space with power. The other groups, the public groups, the educational groups, we're probably a little more than halfway full right now, so we're just kind of waiting for folks to come in. So we have all of that.
What are you thinking about filling up the pony spot?
Do what? I'm
The
sorry?
pony spot, that's a nice big
So
open.
there
spot.
is, and we've had some discussion about the rabbit and poultry barn would maybe like to use some of that as a shaded area for their group to.
Oh, that
Yeah,
would
that'd
be.
be
kind
kind
of
of
nice.
nice.
Would be
Yeah.
And
nice.
there was actually some talk about them maybe asking Fair Board about a permanent kind of gazebo or something, but it's never been presented. I just had heard that through the grapevine. I don't know, Andrew, do you know how, anything about that?
I just know they're out of room.
Yeah,
That would be,
Yeah.
that would actually would be very nice
It
for
would
them
be
to
nice.
have that area.
it's up underneath the tree. It would be a nice spot, because right now, they're kind of going over in that space. But last year we added, I don't know.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
Pulled
So that
everything
makes-
and pulled everything really close to the barn. This year we are gonna take the cars off the roadway right underneath the archway, so they're not even gonna be able to get up this far. And so, we're probably gonna get a little pushback about having to carry things that extra 200 yards or whatever it is, because there's like the park up underneath, right next to the barn, unload and then go park. But we'll have golf carts available. We're gonna communicate it pretty well. Hopefully we can get it out at the all exhibitors meeting and let everybody know. I know we've already had that conversation with its leadership about that, so.
so we get a dealer, a Ford dealership or whoever I can manipulate, if I get somebody. Where would you think they could park a few of their vehicles?
So up where Joe used to park here,
Yeah.
which would be up
Right
in
there,
that.
yeah, I know exactly
that
where it
attic
is.
area. And I know Joe did very well. I think he sold 2 or 3 cars.
Yeah. And there's still quite a bit of room even with how they're building, right? I can't think how it looks now right now.
We also have that space where, Bob Smalling used to put his wagon.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's true. So we
all
have
that
several
space.
spots, because I think that's a draw for them, to have the vehicles on the ground.
So how about that area there by Dennis's place? Is that gonna be parking again, or is that?
So we're gonna do the dog tent, the show ring for the dogs that run on Wednesday morning, and then that typically gets left. But this year, like last year, we had that sheep shearing contest, and we're gonna have that back again. They've actually are trying to expand that. You got people that are coming from all over the country to do that.
So that's
Wow,
So, yeah.
that's great.
Is that Thursday?
That's Thursday. They wanted to go on Thursday instead of Friday because there's a big competition in Iowa that a lot of them will fly out to. And last year we did it on Friday and they barely made it on Saturday afternoon for their other competition.
So when they're not there, I think what you're getting at, it's a free for all down there with the vehicles.
That's exactly what.
Yeah.
So we certainly have the ability to put concrete barriers around them, so we can't even get to it. Okay, so one of the nice things about our new driveway coming in is essentially they're gonna be on the west side of that big pole that's in the middle. They won't even have a chance to get up there.
So instead of taking a left and going out where the carnival is, can they still take a right and go over here by these guys?
No, you're gonna block.
That's
all that.
blocked off too.
We're gonna block that off. It's not safe. And we've known it. We tried to kind of give everybody a little bit of everything, and it just, when we open this up for parking or this up for parking, it just becomes a.
Nightmare.
We have people pulling those poles with chains last year trying to get.
I know, yeah.
So
So where are your vendors going to park?
they're gonna park out where everybody else parks. We're not gonna have a specific vendor parking.
Because they were parking in front of
They were.
Dennis's last year.
They'll have dry camping out the second half. of the outfield or infield of the outdoor arena.
The north
So,
end, of the infield will be
So they can, I mean,
designated for that.
they can also park out there too. And walk through the little man gate.
We'll have golf carts available for everybody. I know that that's not,
It's not that big.
yeah, it's, and I always use the example of the
But you'd be
chutes and how
surprised.
far you have to walk when you get in the chutes kind of there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right,
But
yeah.
somebody will still try to sneak in and then keep their rig along the fence all day long.
I'll be the first one out there being like, no, you are leaving.
It's really hard to catch
I'll
them.
pick them out.
Really hard to catch them.
Vehicles do not need to be in here. It is just not safe. That's why we don't have the electric scooters and skateboards and things like that and dogs and
This year, maybe we're gonna have our no parking signs.
Yes.
For there.
absolutely.
Are we doing line dancing
We are.
again on Thursday night?
Thursday night will be
Great.
line dancers.
Great.
They're actually gonna do two segments. They're gonna do a line dancing that apparently is a solo
Oh,
deal,
yeah.
and then they're gonna do couples
Mm-hmm.
for
Nice.
the second half.
I've had
I
several
didn't
people
realize
ask
it
me about
was
that.
a, they
Yeah.
realize it was a,
Well, I think they're doing line dancing and then swing dancing,
Oh, swing dancing.
which
Okay.
is the top.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
they will play a lot longer than they played last.
great. Better keep the crowd.
So that's all I had for, fair planning updates, unless somebody's got any questions.
Anybody have questions?
Do you have for the book, do you have all the sponsorships and everything you need for the books? Do you have spaces left or,
We do,
okay,
The unfortunate thing with that is pretty much Haley has done all of the premium book. I have
Sure.
not done any of it.
to say you haven't started?
Yeah, so I don't know, I know that we've looked in it and there's a few spots that she told me, we were going to try to fill in with some of the contests that we're gonna do, and then the hard part was we didn't have a lot of sponsors, we're just now truly getting sponsors right now. We've been talking, Linda and I have talked to quite a few people, but I've only gotten a handful of true sponsors.
Have you put it out there that there's room for sponsorship in the
I
budget?
haven't yet because we were trying to focus on face-to-face communication, but I think that maybe,
Well, I'm gonna get back on it. I just had a
yeah,
bad week with my husband, so.
Yeah. Well, and I'm getting the hang of our first rodeo, which is crazy, and it's not even about the first rodeo, it's the next rodeo that's coming up that I'm dealing with this week, but.
Pee-wee's their high school.
Well, Pee-wee is coming up this weekend, but high school is where I'm getting all the, not problems, but everyone's calling and wanting a spot. We are packed for high school,
What's the date of the high school?
May 1st through the 3rd.
Oh, wow.
We have back to back to back. We have Pee-wee this weekend, next weekend high school, and then the 3rd weekend is Rock CC and Pee-wee. So 3 back to back. Then we'll have one more Pee-wee in the finals for high school.
Could you send that to her roundup board?
What's that?
That was just me being naughty. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So Casey, do you have all your
I'll
superintendent?
tell you after that.
Campus sponsor?
We do, we're, I think the only one that we are, and we're not really missing any. So I think we've got everything put together. There is. No, we have it all. So we have everything together. Flags wife Cheryl, did a great job with quilts last year, taking over from Jackie, and so I think she's excited about her second year. We got the new refrigerator for the fruits and vegetables and pies and all that. That's in the new jockey room, and so it's there ready to go. So we're gonna have vegetable races again this year.
That was a big hit.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I think we have the components to make a great fair this year, and so we're just trying to put all the pieces together.
Great.
Yeah.
And we've got quite a few food trucks already.
We're maxed out on the food piece. We don't have any more power or any.
And they're all different?
Yeah,
It's exciting.
every single one.
Good job.
So I think
Good job.
And our coffee, I've already talked to our coffee truck, she's willing to be open for breakfast for the 4-H and FFA and all them. Breakfast, she's gonna have a pretty good selection, and then coffee, of course. And I think there was a couple other vendors that said they would be too, but she was willing to be the main one, so.
How's the coffee?
Pony Espresso, Kathy, yeah, she's really.
Did you, we were up here last year?
I'm
Is that
gonna
where
put
she
her
is?
right out here.
Yeah.
Kind of right, cause it's like you walk right
Yeah,
out.
right
the
out there, yeah.
Arena, and you can see her and she'll be right there, so I think that'll be good. And she'll be open, she said, probably around like 6:30, 7 in the morning. She does, yeah. She's on top of it. So, okay. But if you guys know any other vendors, they had a handful, but we could use more for booths and stuff. Especially I'm trying to do interactive ones, which Jen, shout out her, she found the gal Bay Fire in town and it's over by the cooler cuts. She does candles and wax melts, scentsies for your car and everything. She's coming and bringing a mini candle bar that people can do and make their own mini candles.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so that'll be super good. She's super nice too. I've done a class with her. She's really sweet.
I wonder about somebody that, you know, they have those wine and paint things.
We've talked about that, it's just, yeah, we were trying to find people. I was a little worried, I didn't want to, isn't one of the superintendents doing a paint party? But that's just for kids, right?
Violet
Violet,
does a paint class in Perry Foster Hall.
does she just do it for kids or is it for everyone? That was I didn't wanna take away from.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of something different,
I agree.
and I like the candles.
Jen and I were talking about someone coming and doing haircuts. Remember? Oh yeah, having a barber come and set up and offer haircuts. I don't know if I could get anyone behind that idea, but I thought it would be fun. Who wants to go get a haircut because I'm having the mullet contest, you go win the mullet contest, then you go get your haircut.
What about like the? Oh. Hat making,
I have invited someone.
and
I
then
just haven't heard back from them. They came last year and you could put little patches on the hats and stuff.
then I know that I also saw that one of the vendors or one of the business in town, like doing. Wood engraving and stuff,
Yeah, I remember you sending me that one. I can't remember the
did
name.
I?
That's Hicks,
I think
Hicks
so.
Homemade or something.
There, I think have applied or I've invited them from last year and then there was another one. InDesign or.
Yeah,
Something like that, some engraving, but. Just comes down to, I guess, those type of things probably take quite a bit of power out of those things, so. And how long do they take to?
Right.
Cause like the little mini candles, I don't think they would take too long, and then it's just something that you just kind of come and stand in line and sign up for it, cause
Sure.
she'll have it, of course, be a cost, but. And who doesn't wanna make their own candle in front there?
I think that's fair. I think that's
a good
fine.
idea.
Cause they get
Just
to
make
make
sure
their sense and
how
their,
much power she needs.
yes, yeah, she's already applied, so we're all squared over there. But finding a good place to.
Are they more unfair?
No, I think that anymore.
Nope.
I think that was it.
What about making things like food?
Gotta be careful with that.
Yeah.
I see what you're talking about, but yeah. That gets a little tricky.
Yes, it would. Well, hey, Casey, you're on funding info committee update.
So the cricketer roundup has identified, so once again, it was recap, so we got $1 million for. Horse race infrastructure. Monies that came from the state, and so we have put together a funding committee. I sent everybody an email, we got responses from Casey Kaiser, Gail, and Larry. So that is gonna be our 3, and then on the roundup side is Dale, excuse me, it's Doug Smith and Laura McDaniel, and I believe they've got one or two others that she said she would get back to me. So we are putting together our first meeting, which will be May 7th, tentatively right now, to discuss kind of how this money is going to get spent, essentially. The committee will have to agree. I know there's lots of different ideas out there right now, kind of floating around in the ether. But we'll rein all that in and get the committee get together. They'll make a presentation, and then I'll present it back to the fair board when it's finalized. Susie will be the commissioner's representative on this committee.
So will she be able to trump that? Being the county?
The committee is gonna make a recommendation and that's all.
Not gonna do Susie there, Susie's gonna be picky, I think. They do.
They'll make a recommendation and then it'll go to the.
I guess that was a poor way to put it, but the final decision comes through the county, correct?
I think the fair board is gonna have some,
Okay,
yeah, I think a recommendation that will be made and you guys will be able to voice your opinion, and then I believe it will go to the county. Ultimately, the county is the one that's responsible for the $1 million, so.
So the committee's gonna meet. And then we'll give a report to the fair board. And they'll give a report to the roundup, and each group will say yay or nay to these
I
recommendations.
think the committee is gonna make a recommendation to both the groups, and then we'll have to come together at some point, present them to both of their boards, and then, yeah, ultimately, it's gonna come down to the recommendations of the fair board and their board and then the county commissioners. I think it's gonna be a joint decision. Everybody will be involved. Okay,
Fairgrounds bathroom project.
okay, so the inside bathrooms are complete. And so those are up and running. We opened them the night of the circus. And they were a big hit. Everybody that saw them were well used. We used them at the 4-H benefit auction, and I think they were well received there. The outside bathrooms are being, one side is almost complete, and they're working on the other side. And then the demo from the phase 3, which is the grandstands bathroom, is being done as we speak. So those will be coming third. In the meantime, we have a first Pee-wee, so we're bringing in some more porta potties for both the back side of the bathroom and the front side for the RVers, and the back side for the Pee-wee spectators. So those will come in Thursday.
Wednesday, she said possibly,
Wednesday.
at latest
So
Thursday.
those will be set. And I will keep you posted on the restroom. So if you haven't seen the completed restrooms on the inside, they're well worth walking through. They did turn out very nice.
Yes.
Yeah. So they've been well received.
Okay, we're down to board reports. Linda Smith, do you have anything?
I do not.
Linda Cross,
I don't have anything.
Jennifer. Mike. I don't have anything either. No, staff reports.
About the fair, I'm good.
So I will give you my manager report in a minute, but financial report. So in your report tab is the current financials. Feel free to take these home. These were prepared by treasurer's office 3 days ago.
Glasses. Can't see anything. I'm like,
Got any questions, please let me know about this. Fine.
I'm really in trouble.
Please review them and let me know if you got any questions.
I find that so hard.
Need a case that just like opens.
I do.
With the hard.
And I know, I'm having a lot of trouble with my eyes right now, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, anybody have any comments on our financials? No? Like Casey said, you can take them home and review them and then contact him if you've got any questions. Questions, so Brady.
Okay, my manager's report for April 20th. All three of the hood got cleaned by Oregon Hood Clean, so we're starting fresh again this year. We've had a couple of unplanned expenses, so our John Deere 6410 had the injectors be replaced, and we're waiting on another part. It was down hard. It's about $12,000. This is an expensive little deal, but John Deere is not a cheap. You know.
Is that the new one or is that the old one?
The old one, 6410. We need them both up and running for our rodeos, which is bad. The other gotcha was our septic system backed up in this office. Gail was the last one in there, the flush the toilet.
Yeah.
No, you
Did you
did,
put-
you're after me.
Did you put pasta down there or something? That's what happened to me.
Anyway, we had raw sewage on the carpets.
It
So-
smelled terrible. I can just fill y'all in there.
So anyway, we had JNS drain service out here. They pumped the tanks. We had the carpets cleaned. It was about $2,500 in expense that we didn't really plan for.
Yeah, it was bad. We had to like replace the seal on the bathroom in the toilet as well. It was just a whole disaster.
But the toilet wasn't overflowing, it was.
The tank out here on the lawn,
Oh,
it was bad.
oh,
It was full and it was not,
that,
it was not taking it.
yes.
It hasn't been.
I said,
pumped
kinda like
in
my
10
kitchen
years.
sink. Only worse.
Note to self,
With that.
to put it on the calendar to pump it.
Mhm.
So Casey, that doesn't go out to the,
No. There's a tank right out here, you can see it, and the septic field is our. The Kennedy property is cleared, ready to go. I'm working with Seth that we were mandated in this meeting to acknowledge the Kennedys for
Yes,
donating this. And so I've asked Seth, and he's gonna give us some kind of word of what they're thinking they want to see. And so we will configure some kind of entryway with some kind of acknowledgement. Don't know what that looks like yet until he gets back to me, so. We had a circus here on the 7th. We did have some animal rights protesters here, so we did make the news. It was on KTVZ.
yeah,
Newspaper.
We asked the county attorney for advice and he said, just leave it be. So we left it at that. They had a big giant elephant across the street, blow up elephant that was going up across the street, so.
It looked like it had been webbed, it had red marks on it, and then its trunk was all damaged, so.
The tears.
Okay.
Sad for me to see.
oh,
Yeah,
It was, I was like, oh, I would hate to see that as a child. That's so sad.
So. Larry made the presentation to the county commissioners for phase 3 of the bathroom that did get approved, so that's why we're moving forward with that. Senator Wyden was here, had a town hall, he had about 200 people in attendance, he was probably an hour and a half. He spoke. I have 2 employees that are on jury duty right now, so it's pretty unusual when you only have 3 employees. You got, so Dennis is actually on or one of my employees is actually on a case right now. So. Parker will be attending the career field day at the high school next week. So we're looking forward to that. The Boots and Roots Educational Field Day will be out here next week.
It's fun.
That will be going on. We have 3 applicants for our summer help for 2 positions, so we're pretty excited about that. We received both, Parker and I went over to Facebook on Thursday of last and received our award for the grant that we got. Fortunately, when I was getting our picture taken, there was a big glass bulb and it slipped out of my box. Shattered all over the floor. And I apologize here.
We were third to receive it too,
So,
out of like 12.
Oh, well, you still got the nuggets.
Yeah. It's fine.
Nothing we're seeing that happens, Casey, you're good.
so. We had 10 revenue generating events here between our March meeting and that night's meeting. Crooked River Roundup, OSET, 4-H Horse Club, Ron Wyden's Town Hall. Stock growers met here one day. We had a Powell Butte Cell Tower community meeting that happened. Kiwanis had their Easter egg hunt out on the lawn, big hit. 4-H benefit auction took place inside. I'm not sure if any of you drove through last Thursday and Friday. We had more police officers on this piece of property than I think we've ever had. I think we had 70 officers that did canine training here. And then the next day we had probably 35 from all around the state that did drone training. So they put it up in the air, did that. So yeah, we had dogs from Brookings, Coos Bay, and Pendleton, and all over the state that were here. It was pretty interesting to watch.
That's great.
But that was it. That's kind of the end of my menu. I will keep it abreast, and when we get to May, we'll have another one for information. Anybody have any questions?
Can I go back to public comment real fast?
Sure.
Can we put out a Facebook post to SMAP and Brian Burfeely for coming in and
Oh, yeah,
taking
certainly
care of the
can.
indoor arena for us?
Yeah. So Angela's husband, Craig, asked SMAP to come in and level out our indoor arena. It gets bowled out when we regular. And we typically have it done every year, so sometimes we've had Quail Valley brings their stuff in. Kurt and his group will do that. This time we actually had SMAP, and I think Brian was actually behind the wheel.
He was.
Yeah.
It's great.
But kind of scary, but he did a good job.
That's great.
I got some pictures and stuff.
Oh, good.
I can give
So
them
if you can get them to her, we can.
I can do that tomorrow.
Because
Because
they don't, it was donated, so I feel like
Yeah,
we should give
no,
shout outs.
yeah.
Definitely.
And we do a lot.
Yeah.
They really do.
Well, another shout out to SMAP was during heavy haul relays.
Oh,
They just donated a railroad container to Christmas in the Pines.
And they do
Okay.
too.
One,
Just one.
just one.
What's Sam too?
So I will add to kind of some of the donations. So the Turner Roundup, Doug Smith and Christian Radaball and Robin Katzenberger came in. So the arena, when we had it shot by the transit level, it was down about 250 yards of dirt. So we mined the dirt from the north end of the infield, and Trevor and I got on our dump trucks. And we made 250 yards of dirt. We filled back the arena, got it back to level, and then we took some dirt from this end of the fairgrounds, which was our stockpiles, and we filled that hole back in. It took us a whole day to do it. But I know Robbie and Christian you know, that was all volunteer time for them, and they spent probably 10 to 12 hours on it. So we just acknowledge them, and
Nice.
didn't cost us anything, just got the use of the dump trucks and our time, so. We were getting paid, Trevor and I, but those folks. Good acknowledgement for that.
Yes.
I
Anyway,
do know that the Roundup did post about that too.
oh,
They did, yeah. They didn't post about you, Trevor, but.
oh,
No, you weren't
Posted
part of
by
it.
the word, no.
Yeah.
Surprise.
more news.
Hey, any good for the order? Anyone have anything they'd like to talk about? Well, then we have to have a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
I started.
Been a motion, a second to adjourn, a discussion. Let's start with Linda Smith,
No. Is that what you want?
yay or no?
Oh, no.
Yes, you want to adjourn, don't you?
Huh?
No, you have no public comment
Oh,
or
I
no
didn't-
discussion,
no,
but
yeah.
you wanna adjourn.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm tired.
Linda Cross, yes.
Jack Collins, yes.
Casper, yes.
Gail Merritt votes yes. Meeting adjourned.